Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and today I want to talk about a watch that totally blows my rule for watches out of the water. That is the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus. So my rule was, at least back, I don't know, beginning of this year, beginning of 2018, I used to have a rule that I would never spend over $200 to $250 for a smartwatch because I just didn't really think that a smartwatch was ever worth that much. So the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus is definitely a lot more than just a smartwatch, and we'll talk about what all it has to offer here in just a little bit. But this thing is crazy expensive. So the actual retail price for the watch that I'm holding right now is $700. Garmin had it for $150 cheaper through December 1st. Now it's only $100 cheaper. So right now it's $600, but I paid with tax about $580 for this watch, and that definitely blows my rule out of the water. In fact, it's almost double. It is double, in fact, what my rule used to be. So that was the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus. And just real quick, I want to mention that the first watch that ever broke my rule was the Garmin Vivo Active 3 Music. This one's still $250, so it used to be $300. So that was the very first watch I bought that broke my rule. And then I kind of went off the wire, going crazy. I bought the Samsung Galaxy Watch for like $350, bought the Apple Watch Series 4 for like $400, and now I'm wearing Apple Watch Series 4 and the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus. Completely useless to have both of these watches, but I'm doing it for review purposes. So Garmin Fenix 5 Plus. I am a runner, maybe a triathlete, sort of. I don't know if really can call me a I've done 2 triathlons in my lifetime. I'm 36, so I don't know if that considers me to be a triathlete or if I'm just pretending to be a triathlete, but I'm definitely a runner. I've run, I think, 5 or 4 marathons in my lifetime and about like 15 half marathons, and I couldn't even tell you the number of 5Ks and 10Ks I've run. I've run a lot of them, and I'm by no means an elite athlete, as you can probably tell just by looking at me, but I am definitely a competitive runner. The last half marathon I did was in Detroit back in October of 2018, so just a couple months ago. I ran a 1:20, so not winning, but certainly competitive. So with that being said, I've been using the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus for about a week now. I've gone on 4 or 5 runs with the Fenix 5 Plus, and these are my thoughts on this insanely expensive watch so far. Alright, so before I get into talking specifically about the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus, I just want to mention a few of the differences and why you may want to pick it over something like the Garmin Vivo Active 3 Music. So first of all, one of the things that sets it apart is definitely the size. So you can see here the Vivo Active 3 Music, very small, not very heavy at all. You hardly even notice it's on your wrist when you're wearing it, whereas with the Fenix 5 Plus, it's definitely a little heavier. Now, I don't really find it to be necessarily cumbersome to wear at all. In fact, I think it's quite comfortable to wear, but you will notice this one, whereas with the Vivo Active 3 Music, you hardly even notice it's on your wrist. Now, what's interesting is that the actual watch face really isn't any difference. There's no difference between the watch faces in terms of the actual size of the watch face, but you can see that the diameter here of the Fenix 5 Plus is definitely bigger, and it's more comparable with something like this one here, the Samsung Galaxy Watch. So this is a 46 millimeter diameter, this is 47 millimeter, and you can get even bigger with the Fenix 5X Plus, or you can get smaller with the 5S Plus. So still going to be a pretty hefty watch though with the Fenix 5 Plus. So here it is up next to my Amazfit Stratus. So similar in size, but the Amazfit Stratus is certainly a lighter watch, primarily because it doesn't have any kind of stainless steel on it like what you get with the Fenix 5 Plus. And then last watch I'm going to show you is the TicWatch Pro. So it's very actually similar in terms of size to the TicWatch Pro. The TicWatch Pro actually is a pretty heavy watch though, because you can see this one's also stainless steel. So these have a similar build in terms of the actual look. So you can see TicWatch Pro, Fenix 5 Plus, so very similar in terms of size. Both have that stainless steel on the front and on the back, and they're both quite heavy watches. Now, another major difference here between these two watches is that with the Garmin, obviously with the Vivo Active 3 Music, you only have one button and the rest of it is touchscreen. So if I go through here, you can see I can scroll through my menus just using touchscreen. And then it's nice because when you're in the actual, like if I want to go for a run, everything there can be controlled by this button. So if I go for a run, it's going to wait for GPS, but then I can start and stop it with the button, which is cool. And then going back is just a swipe to the left. That is really cool. Over here we have 3 buttons. So we have an up and a down button. So that's up, that's down. We have a light button. Now if I hold down that light button, it's actually going to take me into these shortcuts here. This is the back button. So right over here, that's the back button. Also the lap button when you're running. So that's another major difference here, is that you have a lap button here, whereas over here there really is no way to do laps other than automatic laps. Unless you're doing intervals, there is a way to do interval workouts with the Vivo Active 3 Music, but nowhere nearly as easy it is to do it with the Fenix 5 Plus. This one also has 16 gigs of internal storage because of the maps that it has native onto the watch. So if I go in here, you can go into, basically you're navigating, there's no touchscreen, which was a little weird to get used to, because when you're used to the Vivo Active 3 Music and then you come to this watch, it's definitely different to use. So you can see just scrolling through, so that was actually notifications. So just like with that watch, you can get notifications. We have our weather, and you can add in other widgets from the Garmin Connect store, and there's a plethora of those. It uses the same app, so it uses Garmin Connect. All of your fitness information is here. It's stored here from day to day, so that's great. You can see it tracks your sleep, obviously. Gives you a ton of detail when it comes to running. See, and I just tried touchscreening, and that's why it's like all like messy on the touchscreen, because I tried touching it and it doesn't work. Everything is actually push buttons. So yeah, so anyways, so here's like my most recent workout. So you can see, got our time, distance, calories. Obviously it does all that very well. If I swipe over here, we can see it goes into more detail in terms of like just all kinds of different details. So elevation, calories burned, temperature, which that's definitely wrong, which is interesting, because if I go back, let's see if I go back here, if I go into that actual workout, I think if I touch here and go to the map, see down here, it actually had the right temperature, so 25 degrees, but then when I go in here, somebody help me out with this, because down here, average temperature 49 degrees, max temperature 75. It was definitely not even close to 75. Yeah, because I was wearing hat and gloves, because it was 25 degrees actually. And then we have our lap splits, so that's a pretty typical run for me, kind of dropping down in time as I go. And then you can see pace, heart rate, performance. Not really exactly sure how to use that performance condition. We have a training effect, which that does take a while for it to actually kind of get used to your training. So I mean, was I really running 2.3 and 4.8 anaerobic versus aerobic? I don't really know, but that's just kind of information you can get from it. Cadence, elevation, so that's dead accurate. But then again, temperature, I'm not really sure what it's referring to here, because it was literally 25 degrees out, so nowhere even near there. And then you can see the heart rate zone. So yeah, all kinds of great information here. Really no different than what you get with the Vivo Active 3 Music. The difference is over here I can actually do like an interval workout on the watch without having to have like a pre-made interval workout. So if I go back, obviously the other thing is that it actually has physical buttons, which is actually really nice for runners. So I know like everything's going to touchscreen, and I really like the touchscreen here on this watch, but when you're a runner, it's actually easier just to have physical buttons, especially like if you get sweaty, it might not even register your fingerprint, which is kind of an issue sometimes on watches like that have touchscreen. Like this one here, the Samsung Health Watch, you're running and it's not registering your touch because your finger's too sweaty or whatever. So that's an issue. So it's nice that with this watch, you don't have to worry about that because it's all touch button. Now, I will say that there's a watch pretty much directly in between these two watches. So this one right now it's $250. This one right now is $600. In between these two is the Garmin what is it called? The Forerunner 645 Music. So both of these have music. This one only has 4 gigs of internal storage, and as of right now, the only music app it supports, if I go in here, is one called Deezer, which is really weird. It supports some other ones, but it doesn't have Spotify yet, and they brought it to the Fenix 5 series first, and never really brought it to and also the Garmin Music 645 also has music, but the Vivo Active 3 Music for some reason is still stuck with just Deezer. So you can get all of them here. You can get iHeartRadio, Deezer, you can get Spotify. So that's one of the things I really like about this watch, is the fact that I can get Spotify apps, or playlists onto this one. So, oh, that's just a terrible song. So I gotta hurry up and change that. But anyways, so I can go in here, select it. I can switch my library. Also, this one has 16 gigs of internal storage. Now, some of that is taken up by maps because you actually have physical maps, literally physical maps on this watch, which is crazy to have. Obviously, they're not physical; they're digital maps on the watch. But it's crazy that you can fit like basically an actual digital map on here. Also, topographical maps on here. So if I go out of here, and obviously you can see I'm still a little bit of a novice at navigating through this thing, but if I go up here, go into like a workout and scroll down through these, I believe, let's go, yeah, hike. Let's see, so I think if I go up here, we got height settings, so navigation, so I have actually like navigate for you, and there's points of interest, places to go around you, back to start, and then there's also like you can download some courses on here. So very cool, just awesome features within this watch that you don't get over here. So obviously there is no real like navigation that you get on the Vivo Active 3 Music in comparison to this one. Now, a watch that I would say really kind of is similar to the the Garmin Forerunner 645 Music is this one right here. This one's only $180, the Amazfit Stratus. This one does a lot of the same things that the Forerunner 645 does. This one does have a touchscreen, but you can see also the buttons, so you can navigate with buttons or with touchscreen, the Amazfit Stratus. This is a fantastic watch, so if you've never heard of this watch, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's only 180 bucks, and it's fantastic. So anyways, just a ton of stuff you can do here on the Fenix 5 Plus. Now, honestly, here's kind of my 2 cents so far. This is definitely an overkill watch for me. This is definitely more than what I need on a day-to-day basis. When I made my review for the Vivo Active 3 Music, I called it nearly the perfect GPS running watch for me. And the reason why I said that is because really the only issue I had with it is that it just did not connect up to my Bluetooth headphones very well. And since then, they've had some updates. It connects up to all of them perfectly well now. So really on a day-to-day basis, I'd much rather wear this watch than this watch because it does everything I want. It has really good GPS, has great heart rate, actually the exact same heart rate monitor. It uses first beat. You can see that they have the same one here, unless you get the Fenix 5X Plus, which in that case then it has also a little red sensor for pulse ox, but that's not available on the 5 Plus that I picked up. So this one has great GPS, great heart rate, but then also it can store music. Now, one complaint is that it only has 4 gigs of storage, and when you go into Deezer and you go into those playlists, it literally will only let you download 100 songs. So that's definitely a concern. If you want more than 100 songs, obviously with Deezer you only get 100, and you can download like music directly from a phone to the watch as well. But over here, notice that it says music 500 songs, and then also this one has GPS, GLONASS, and Galileo, so obviously 3 types of GPS versus only 2 over here. So with this one you only get GPS and GLONASS, and then also over here we get Garmin Pay, also available over here, so that's not really anything new. Both have smart notifications, but what's big here is that you have that trendline popularity routing for running and cycling, and really other than that, better battery life. So let me just kind of give you a little gauge of battery life. So over here on the Fenix 5 Plus, so far, if I go for like, let's say a 6 to 7 mile run, basically for about every mile I'm losing 1%, and that's with GPS and music going at the same time. So that's really good. Over here, for that, it's about 2% per mile, so definitely a little faster. In general, I would say if I'm using GPS and music while I'm running, I'm getting through about 2 to 3 days on the Vivo Active 3 Music. Obviously, if I'm not running with it, you're not using GPS, you're not using music, you can get closer to like I'm gonna say 5 days, 6 days, maybe even more, about a week with that one, where over here you can get certainly a lot longer than that, but then you're not really utilizing the watch, because really the purpose of this watch is to track your workouts, and so if you're not really working out, then obviously you don't really have a need for this watch. But if you're someone who goes hiking, the fact that this has like maps built right into it is just phenomenal. And yeah, there's just so much you can do with this thing, but it's really great for like somebody who's a hiker, a mountaineer, something like that, where for somebody like me, where I'm just running and I'm looking to have good GPS and music while I'm running, honestly, this one does the trick. So both fantastic watches. Obviously, there's a bunch of other options out there, but if I could pick any one perfect GPS watch for me, I would probably say, as of right now, probably the Garmin Active 3 Music. Also, the Amazfit Stratus pretty much does everything I need. The big thing missing from the Active 3 Music is intervals, but this one has it, the Amazfit Stratus, for $180. And then the watch, whoa, bumpy camera that I wear always because I can get, you know, phone calls and things like that to it, is this one right here. So this is the Apple Watch Series 4. All right, so for those of you that were looking for a more comprehensive review of the Fenix 5 Plus, don't worry, I'm going to be doing lots more coverage of this watch because I'm going to be using it very heavily over the next couple of months. In fact, I'm training for the Wisconsin Marathon. This will be my main watch that I use over the course of that training. But I just wanted to show you real quick some of the things that we didn't necessarily look at. So these are just some of the activities that you can look at here. So run, trail run, treadmill, hiking, biking, and then if I go down further, these are ones I don't have natively on the watch, but I could add these in. So navigate, map, track me, walk, pool swim, open water swim, triathlon, HRV stress, so that's your heart rate stress, and then we can add even more. So there are more within the Garmin app, Garmin Connect IQ app that you can add to it, and yeah, there's just so much you can do with this watch. I have only scratched the surface in this video, and I will definitely also be taking more look at the actual software here. So again, we could be spending pretty much like an hour-long video, and I probably wouldn't cover everything that this watch is capable of, but you can see obviously it is a fantastic fitness watch. I would say for the average person, this one's probably overkill. Again, I don't think most runners need everything that this watch can do. Is it a great watch that can do a ton? Absolutely. But I don't think everyone should go out and spend $500, $600, $700, up to I think like $1,000 if you get the highest end Fenix X Plus. I just don't think most people need that. But it's a fantastic watch, and so we'll be going more into it here very soon. So thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.